Tonight we're going to do a curried pea soup. We're going to do it in the Rock Crock Everyday Pan. Yesterday I did the loaded baked potato chowder in the microwave, and tonight I'm going to be doing the soup on the stovetop. The Rock Crock Everyday Pan, or any of the lines, can be used on the stovetop, in the microwave, in the oven, under the broiler, on the barbecue. Very, very versatile. But this is a really fragrant, delicious soup. I was introduced to it at the Bala Curling Club a couple of years ago. It was so popular, they made it only for vendors because it was so cold in there, and the vendors found it was so tasty that they lined up and said, can we get the recipe? It was so popular, they taped the recipe to the counter and invited you to take your phone and take a picture of the recipe. So it's a very simple recipe made with most of the ingredients you probably already have in your house or in your pantry, and let's get going. I started with a little bit of melted butter and an onion that was chopped in the manual food processor. I love this because the more you pump the lid, the finer the food gets chopped. And the first stage is cooking it for 5 minutes. We've added all kinds of spices. There was a little bit of cumin, there was curry powder, ground ginger, a clove of garlic, some salt, pepper, and cayenne. So that's cooked for about 5 minutes. And now we're at stage 2. And stage 2 is simply adding some chicken stock, peas, frozen peas, green peas, you got them in the freezer, right? And half a can of chickpeas that have been rinsed and drained. And we're going to bring that to a boil. That's going to take a minute. And it also calls for adding a half a cup, well, in this case I'm doing a half recipe, so half a cup of applesauce. Now I don't have any applesauce in the house, but I did have some frozen apple slices that I was planning to do apple pie with. So I'm going to add that in there. And the apple pie slices I had already pre-mixed with a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of brown sugar, so we're not going to add the brown sugar into the recipe that it was calling for. So we're just going to bring that to a boil, and it's going to I'm going to reduce the heat to medium, let it cook for about 5 minutes, and we'll come back and finish it. Okay, so we've had 5 minutes of the soup blending, and at this point you can put it into a blender or you can use a hand blender. I'm going to use the blender that comes with the new Flex Plus system, which is cordless, which is kind of nice not to be attached to a cord. So whatever you like. If you don't have an immersion blender like this, you can put it in your regular blender until it's smooth. And then we're going to add some yogurt and a little bit of lime juice. If you don't have yogurt, you can use sour cream. And by the way, if you didn't have any apples, you can also use substitutes are a banana, sweet potato, mashed avocado, pumpkin puree, or even pureed pears. So the key is to get a little bit of sweetness in there. Oh, this is looking good. I'd never used an immersion blender before I got the Flex Plus, and now I can't do without it. that soup is nice and creamy. So we're going to add a little bit of yogurt. And this is one of my favorite little tools. It is a Measure All Mini, or actually a Petite, and it will do. Let me just shut off the heat on that. It will let you measure liquids with the blue measure marks and the little coarse spout. You just put your liquids in there. Or if you're doing goopy stuff like I did tonight, you turn it upside down, push it down, get that over there, and add your goopy stuff on the top and then push it out. So there's our sour cream or yogurt. If you don't have yogurt, you can use sour cream. We're going to use a little bit of lime juice just to give it a little punch up on the flavor. Oh, yum. This is going to be so good. By the way, here's a tip for you if you didn't know. If you're using yogurt or sour cream, if you turn it upside down like this in the fridge, it will last you so much longer. So there's my tip for tonight and my yummy soup for tonight. Enjoy.